Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor. Thanks for checking me out. I'm wearing some new shades today. Hopefully you like them. So, there is a lot of things about waking up, about awareness, which you see as in a lower manifestations, you will see polarities. So you would see positive and negative, yin yang, the dualistic nature of our reality. We have the feminine, we have the positive, and when things cross over from one side to another, that can be certainly alarming. And I'll just talk about environmentalism for a minute. So Greta Thunberg and these people advocates, and she's a young woman, but people who are advocates for climate change and protecting the environment. I'm all for protecting the environment. I actually lived with the Lenape Indians for a while, so I'm very much into the environment. I recall a story where I went down by a brook with my Indian brother and in the tribe, and I picked up a stone. He said, "What are you doing?" So I was just picking up this stone. He said, "Put it back." It was such as caretaker of the planet, we had such, and this is back in the 90s, we had such a knowledge about protecting everything. So that's so important, right? But here we have the duality. So we have, and I'll point out, carbon dioxide. So what do we hear in the news? What do you hear last years and years ad nauseum? The fuel that we burn, the carbon dioxide, is destroying the planet. So what's the science behind it? Actually, what do plants breathe in? Carbon dioxide. So if you have, if you're a grower and you have, a greenhouse, and you really want to get these things pumping, you'll pump in carbon dioxide a little bit into the atmosphere of the greenhouse, because you want they breathe in carbon, right? And they breathe out oxygen, is the way I recall, unless things have changed again. But you see, so if we say actually what comes out of the tailpipe of your car, if you're fossil fuel burning, you're actually feeding the plants, and the plants are breathing in this, and they're breathing out oxygen. So you go, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. That's against everything that I heard of. I thought carbon dioxide was bad. And then now they start talking about, the greenhouse effect and how things are heating up. But then you see that there's these solar cycles with the sun, and they have 11-year solar cycles. And so the sun is the one that lights up and heats the earth. And so it can be waking up into this duality mindset can be, a difficult process. And then, what people do is they get pulled to these polarities. You get pulled to, oh, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm this, I'm that. It's the I. When you identify with something, and then you're being pulled towards it. So what happens is, we start, and I'm really, by the way, I'm loving these glasses. I got them for like $6, and they're polarized, and they look like they're $1,000, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, so when you're in this polarization of vibrations, and you're trying to be aware of what's the truth and what's not, so then you see things out there in the world, and like we see things like China, and when China, did they release this virus? Is it a man-made weapon? Is it this? Is it that? I don't have evidence. I only have feelings. I don't have it. So I'm not going to say anything about that right now. What I am going to say is that in China, as I understand it, in Wuhan, they've been back to normal for a long period of time. And probably you've heard the same thing, that they've been back to normal. I don't recall that they ever had to get a vaccine, that they ever got shots. I don't recall that happening, but yet supposedly they're all back to normal. I don't know what's the exact truth over there, but what I can tell you is it seems to be, from the reports that I'm getting, that they are in fact back to normal. That it was almost like it came and it went, like almost like a seasonal flu, where it was a dangerous seasonal flu. But it came and it went. Here in the West, everybody we're being told to get a vaccine. Now, I'm just stating the truth that in the East, it looks to be like they did not, and now they're all back to normal. But in the West, we have to go get these, vaccines. So there's a lot of things that have been, pushed one way or the other way for this duality. And when it goes to swing one way or the other way, there's people behind the scenes that benefit from it. So, masks, wearing the masks, people are building, selling masks. For them, it's a great watershed. They are making a lot of money on selling these masks. For certain individuals that have companies that sell things online, they're going to make a lot more money. So, and who spends the money to, push certain things? They're doing that behind the scenes too. So you have to look at the polarity of everything, the positive, negative, but again, not be drawn into these things, because the enlightenment happens when you stand away from it and you see the polarization between these things. So I have, some friends online, they say, okay, for years they're anti-vax or they're anti-GMO. And that's what they can focus on. They focus on one thing. And they say to me, I say, I always see you posting about one thing, but there's other things going on. And they say, well, I know I'm allowed to talk about this, and I feel safe when I talk about it. Because they make it their information, they get the information about it, they feel like they know about it, and then they feel safe. So they feel like they can talk about those kind of things. So it's, where do you feel safe and where do you not feel safe about talking about it is another way for a polarity, another way to view your reality and see, gee, what don't I feel safe talking about, And then there's some people that whatever they don't feel safe about talking about, that's maybe what they should explore. So those people are the ones that are, helping more than not helping, because you find out what's important and what's not important. And the most spiritual thing I want to tell you today is to, when you have a question, meditate on the question and you'll get the answer. But really, look at it from a higher viewpoint and try to see it from a different angle. And then, you answer yourself most of these times these questions that you have, So what you should do is find out what the most important question in your life is, and then go from there. And it's a sequence. So just find out what's the most important question in your life, and that'll help with your awakening. Because those kind of things, when you find out what's the questions that drive you, then you understand what's the, what can be the answers. And then you have to really search deep for the answers to those questions. Just don't take the first thing that pops into your mind, although that might be correct. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. I hope you think I did a great job. Have a great day. Bye-bye.